Hello, this is GCSE Physics Explained, and I'm going to tell you about stopping distance. So the total stopping distance is made up of two things. It's the sum, which means you add together the thinking distance in meters and the braking distance in meters, and the total stopping distance is in meters as well. So they'll ask in an exam, what is the thinking distance? And you say it's the distance you travel while you're thinking about pressing the brakes. And it is to do with your reaction time. So just say a cat jumps out in the middle of the road. Your brain has to tell your foot to press the brakes. Now, while your brain is telling your foot to press the brakes, the car is obviously still travelling. Most people's reaction time is about half a second. So if you're going 10 meters a second, then in half a second, you'll travel 5 meters. So that 5 meters would be your thinking distance. Now, once you've pressed the brakes, that doesn't mean that the car's going to come to a stop. You have to mechanically come to a stop, and that's where the braking distance comes into it. So once again, a common question is, what's the braking distance? And you say it's the distance you travel once the brakes have been applied. Now, a common problem that students do is they'll talk about time. They'll say, what's the thinking distance? And they'll say, oh, it's the time that it takes for the car for you to press the brakes. Examiners don't like you to say that. Okay, and especially don't say it's how long it takes to press the brakes, because do you mean how long in terms of distance, or do you mean how long in terms of time? So please make sure, if they're asking you about thinking distance, you talk about distance in your answer, and the same for braking distance. Make sure you talk about distance, don't waffle on about time. Right, now they'll ask you what are the factors that increase the thinking distance. Now, most of the factors are factors that would increase your reaction time, because the thinking distance is affected by your reaction time. So if you're on drugs or alcohol, or if you're being distracted because you're on your mobile phone, which is massively illegal, then all of those things would increase your reaction time. And therefore, just say, instead of your reaction time being half a second, now your reaction time is a full second. That means you will travel further because it will take you more time to actually press the brakes. Now, another factor that increases the thinking distance is a faster speed. Now, a low going faster in itself will not increase your reaction time. If you are going faster, you will travel further in your reaction time. So just say your reaction time is still half a second, which is good. Instead of just going at 10 meters per second, in which case you would travel 5 meters, if you're going at 30 meters a second, then you're going to travel 15 meters during that reaction time. So faster speed will increase your thinking distance. Now, what about factors that will increase the braking distance? Now, the braking distance is all to do with the car, just like the thinking distance was all to do with the human. So what will make the car take a greater distance? Worn out tyres, worn out brakes, if you are going faster, and also poor weather conditions like rain and ice, or if there's gravel or mud on the road, that would make you go into a skid as well. Now, what you'll notice is that faster speed affects the braking distance, and faster speed affects the thinking distance. So if in doubt in an exam, and they ask you for a factor that affects either that or that, you could say faster speed, because it'll affect them both. All right. And the only other thing that crops up quite often is it'll say what happens when you press the brakes, and you just say, when you apply the brakes, work is done by friction. And also they'll ask you, what are the energy transfers? So kinetic energy, your movement energy, is going to get converted into heat energy. So thermal energy, because the brake pads will get hot. So that is a really good answer to say. This dumbed down answer is not so good to say, but basically means the same as the top. The car slows down and the brakes get hot. Okay, and that takes care of that. Thank you very much and goodbye.